Hi there, and welcome to Draw Anything and Everything. I'm your artist, Mickey Malarky. You know, recently a close friend of mine said to me, Mickey, I wish that I could draw like you. Can you show me how to draw? Now the amazing thing is, there is no one way to draw. And my friend already knows how to draw. He just might not know it yet. When you draw anything and everything, you can do it in an unlimited number of ways. And today we're going to have a special episode where we're really going to explore that. All you need is to have something to draw on, something to draw with, and, you guessed it, a lot of enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm!
So for this special episode, we're really going to show how it's not about how do you draw something, it's whether or not you love what you draw. Because quite frankly, you can love what you draw even if it looks very different from what someone else has put together. So we're going to turn to the imagination box, but instead of the usual 3 things, because this is a special episode, we're only going to put one thing. And from that one thing, we're going to draw a number of things. Are you ready? Here we go. And today's item is an apple. Are you ready to draw an apple in a whole bunch of different ways? All right, here we go. Let's get drawing. All right, so today we're going to play around with an apple. And remember, the purpose is not to learn about how does Mickey Malarky draw an apple. It's about how do you draw an apple and how much you love that apple after you've drawn it. So here we go. We're going to do a whole bunch of different styles. So the first one, let's do something simple. A circle and a stick. And I know it kind of looks a little bit like a cherry right now, but that's as simple as an apple could be. Just a stick and the apple. If we want, you can give it a little leaf. And you can start to see how even something so simple, with a little bit of color, can suddenly start to look like a proper apple. Not too bad, eh? Look at that apple. Not too bad at all. But you know, when I was growing up, I didn't have apples that looked like that. My mom used to buy something called Red Delicious. And Red Delicious kind of looked like this. It was like 2 bumps at the top and then bump, 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 bump at the bottom. And these are the apples we always had in our house. They always had a little bit of a shine to them, so I'm going to put a little shine there. And again, Red Delicious, so it was red. So we can just color this a bright red, and all of a sudden now we have a different kind of apple. But then one day, my sister came home, and she said, I don't like Red Delicious. And she had this other kind of apple, and it looked like this. Kind of the same as the first one we drew, but had a couple bumps in the bottom, just a couple little bumps at the bottom. But you know what was really strange about this apple? It wasn't red at all. It was fully green. I said to her, Sister, are Red Delicious apples coming in green now? She said, No, this isn't Red Delicious. This is a Granny Smith apple. I'm like, okay. So I guess there are more kinds of apples in the world than just Red Delicious. But then, let's make it even weirder. I went to the grocery store and I noticed a different kind. And it looked and was shaped a lot like a Red Delicious apple. But it wasn't. And it was a completely different color. So the color was kind of a yellowy brown. And it was called a Golden Delicious apple. Now, what did I just draw? I drew it upside down. Isn't that weird? But you know what? I can draw it upside down because there's nothing that says that an apple has to look only one certain way. Now, what if I wanted to draw, say, for example, one of these? Do you know what that is? What does that look like to you? I know what you're thinking. That looks an awful lot like a pear. But would you be surprised to learn this is also an apple? Yeah, this is just a different kind of apple. It's a pear-shaped apple. And if you've never seen one before, maybe it doesn't exist in real life. But in the drawing universe, it absolutely can exist. You know what else can exist? Let's make a cube. There we go. And you can guess it. At the top, we're going to put a little stem there. And what is this? This is a cube-shaped apple. What? That's so weird. But you know what? It exists in our drawing universe. Because in our drawing universe, anything we want to exist can exist. And as you can see, there's any number of ways of drawing an apple. There's no one way of drawing an apple. That's the same with anything and everything that you choose to draw. Now you might be saying, well, Mickey, You draw all the time, so maybe you're just good at drawing apples. Well, first of all, I don't normally draw apples, but I'm going to draw with my left hand here just to show you that even when I'm not drawing with my main hand, and even if it's not exactly what I might have had in my mind in the first place, it still can look pretty good. And you see, that's not a bad apple at all. If I was in the grocery store, I would buy that. So I'm going to give that some color, and I'm going to give it a little green as well. I like it when the apples are a couple of different colors. And now you see we have all these different kinds of apple. But then we can take it and now we can turn it into whatever picture we want. So here, let's now have a lot of fun. We're going to draw a giant, huge, red delicious apple, right? Like it was out of the movies, one of these giant apples. And I'm going to give him some muscles, right? Why not? Let's create a giant monster-sized apple. And we're going to give him a nice big hand. There he goes. And over here, we're going to give him another big muscly arm. And another nice big hand, right? Because again, we can do anything we want. We can give our apples hands in the drawing universe. That's how exciting it is. And it doesn't matter what it looks like in the end of the day, so long as we love it. And that's the reason why enthusiasm is so important when we draw. We're going to give him a nice big muscly leg and maybe some kind of gym shoe. And then on his other back part here, I'm going to give him another big muscly leg and another gym shoe. And let's give him a nice big scary face. Why not? Because this is the kind of apple that we feel like drawing right now. It is a big, scary monster apple face. And we're going to give him some big teeth. And we're going to have him open his mouth and maybe have some teeth here at the bottom. And you know the saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Well, let's draw a little doctor here in their little lab coat, kind of running away. Right? This is the apple that we want for today, chasing our doctor away. Ah! And there he goes down the street from our giant monster apple. And you know, we didn't know what that was going to be when we first started, but look at it. This is what it comes out as, because we could draw anything we want. So let's give our giant apple some red. There we go. Nice big red apple. And you know, even though it's a red delicious, let's highlight it with some green. Why don't we? Right? There we go. We'll give the leaf a little bit of green. We'll give them some nice big, let's go with some big gray arms here, right? Really give them the monster look. Again, this is that grayish blue that I like so much. Same thing with his legs. Same thing with his legs here. And then we'll give his mouth some like different color of red. Right, it's got some red on the inside too. And finally, we'll wrap it up with some brown for the stick and some nice teal for the shoes. He's got some pretty cool shoes. Nice kicks, as people like to say. And our little friend down here, some brown pants. Why not? It's a doctor, so let's give them that little blue scrub treatment. And just to make sure we know that they're running away and not towards him, we're just going to have him go, ah! And there we go. We now have a whole bunch of different kinds of apples, drawn a whole bunch of different ways, and our giant monster apple to really bring it home. So long as you love what you draw, it doesn't matter how you draw it. Thank you for joining me for today's special episode. I think we proved our point that it's not about how you draw or how to draw something. It's about loving what you draw and really drawing with enthusiasm. Look at all these different apples that we created today. Could you have pictured that? So any apple you draw is absolutely perfect. Never forget it. Love your apples, love your drawings, and I'll see you again next time. Take care.